Gentlemen and female gentlemen, it's time for the lore of gold dragons. That's right, we are doing D&D lore of every creature, and we're putting them in a gigantic tier list at the very end. So lock in, let's see what the gold dragons are all about. People told me I needed to look into all their separate dragons.
Also called royal dragons or imperial dragons, gold dragons are the apex of an already unimaginably powerful race.
Oh, so gold dragons are the strongest? Okay, cool. Love that, actually. That's pretty cool.
They're judicious, wise, and benevolent.
Ooh, they're wise!
They hate injustice and...
It's so crazy. When I came into this, I thought all dragons would be like just savages guarding treasures and stuff. I didn't realize they'd be like wise and shit.
Foul play and will go to any length to smite evil wherever it may stand.
Wait!
Today, we shall go through every secret of the gold dragon that the monster manual does not cover.
So you're telling me that these dudes fly around fighting evil? The gold dragons are like vigilante dragons? Okay, that's pretty fucking cool. That's pretty cool. They're the strongest metallic dragons. The metallics are good, the chromatics are evil. Interesting.
Dragons are majestic, beautifully graceful creatures who dedicate their lives in the fight versus evil.
Damn.
They can live and lair literally anywhere, from high up in the mountains to all the way down underwater. They're also extremely reserved, so finding one is always a great quest, considering that they could be, well, anywhere. I'm not gonna spend too much time differentiating this dragon from the other ones, because out of all of the metallic dragons, telling a gold dragon apart is actually the easiest, considering
it's gold. It's giant and gold. Pretty easy.
The overwhelmingly unique feature of their whiskers.
Oh.
No other dragon possesses whiskers such as
foolish
these.
me.
So when it comes to differentiating brass, copper, bronze.
Foolish me, I thought it was, you know, the gold part of it, but nope, actually it's the whiskers. My bad. These dragons be Chinese.
In gold, you should actually be able to nail it pretty convincingly every single time. So without further ado, let's start and see what exactly the monster manual says about gold dragons. Like always, we have a very good descriptor of how they look and what differentiates them from others. We're told that they can eat anything but prefer gems and pearls as their favorite food, which of course they love to be given as gifts. We're told that they are well respected, but they are very reserved and require a lot of privacy.
They're shapeshifters? Bro, you just told me about all this whisker shit and then they could just shapeshift?
Yes, they rarely fraternize with other dragons. We're told that they like to polymorph into humanoids and they rarely show their true form. While polymorphed, they like to help people and punish wrongdoers. And lastly, we're told that they place their hordes on vaults and protect them with magical spells and incantations.
Jew dragons, they even have the whiskers. Jew dragons.
Just a couple of paragraphs of information, but overall we get a very good sense of what these creatures are all about. But now, it is time to kick the door open and see just what juicy secrets we have about gold dragons that the monster manual does not say. First of all, you will actually notice that they will share a lot of similarities with bronze dragons, the dragons of justice. So of course, I will recommend that you go and check my video on bronze dragons after you're done with this one.
I did not do bronze dragons yet. I will do bronze dragons in the future. We're covering all the lore.
That you can see how the two of them fare up together. But yeah, just like the bronze dragons, gold dragons actually really prefer to be polymorphed, just like how the monster manual says. But what the manual doesn't tell you is that this is not just to avoid unwanted attention. See, gold dragons actually just generally prefer to be small critters or humanoids rather than their big draconic form.
Okay.
You can tell this by the fact that they change their forms even whilst in their lair where nobody's watching.
Oh, that's weird.
They are so prolific at this magical body change that they actually have the unique and very special ability to fly even if their polymorphed form is wingless. So indeed.
Okay, so then what are the wings for if they don't even need them to fly? Magic? That's pretty cool.
A gold dragon that changes to the form of a dog or a cat could still fly magically in the air.
Maybe that's why
because the gold dragon's version of polymorph is particularly potent, and they bring a lot of powers from their...
Hassan Piker's dog secretly is a polymorph dragon, and that's why it jumps and flies around erratically.
Original form into their polymorphed version. In fact, one of the best ways to tell a gold dragon is polymorphed into a critter is if you smell saffron or incense coming from that critter, as the smell of the dragon carries over into the polymorphed version. Now, gold dragons can indeed live basically anywhere in the world. They don't have any particular preference when it comes to where they will make their lair. What they do have, though, which the monster manual doesn't tell you, is one golden rule. A rule that has been the case all the way back since the first edition. That is that gold dragons will only lair in a place made of solid stone. Other than that,
Okay, seems random, but okay.
the actual location is always secondary to the dragon, since its main concern is always going to be to find a place that has a strong magical source. See, gold dragons do their best to protect the world from evil. That's just what they dedicate their lives to.
Cool.
So making their lair close to or in a strong magical source doubles up as a place where the dragon can practice magic, but also as a place where the dragon can safeguard this important source of magic from the hands of evildoers. But the former reason is what I want to focus on. The fact that gold dragons enjoy practicing magic. This is something completely...
Oh, so they sit in their random solid stone cavern and they're just shooting spells at the walls all the time?
ignored in the monster manual that actually has a huge ramification in how an adventurer will prepare for a battle against a gold dragon, but also how a dungeon master will play out that same battle. See, all dragons are sorcerers. They have the innate natural ability to cast spells. These spells...
It's so cool to look at them from that perspective. They're not just giant lizards that breathe fire. They're like actual sorcerers. That's why they're different types of it. I really like that twist in D&D lore in general.
They differ depending on the dragon and the region that it resides under. Gold dragons, for example, have the innate ability to talk to animals, they can cast spells to discern lies, they can read thoughts, they can summon fey animals, and they can instill luck upon themselves or people. And of course, much, much more. But gold dragons don't actually rely on their naturally born abilities. Instead, they are the only true dragon that actually submits itself to formal magical training.
Bro,
what does that mean, you ask?
That's so cool.
They are wizards, Harry. Gold dragons' biggest hobby, other than questing for good, is to study magic in order to become powerful wizards with spell books and all. In fact, gold dragons dislike fighting hand-to-hand against other creatures. Instead, they will typically use their powerful high-level spells to deal damage. In a typical encounter with an enemy, the gold dragon will stall as much as it can in order to read the thoughts of its enemy and discern any advantage that it can get. And it will then avoid combat for as much as possible.
Strategic wizard bitch dragons. I love it. Okay, really cool.
Well, in order to allow itself to cast all of its preparatory spells, and only then will it strike. In fact, its favorite spells typically are Slow, Fire Shield, Cloud Kill, Glove of Invulnerability, Delayed, Blast Fireball, and the Mace spell.
Bro, this giant gold dragon just be like, using claws and fangs and tails is barbaric. I am simply going to flay you with the dome of schmibblability from the distance. That's correct, I'm gonna zap you with infinite pain and torture from afar. Unlike those barbarians.
These are the type of spells that you would see the dragon cast over and over again. Now, you may wonder about
they're just
a
sitting there
gold
in the distance, bro. They're sniping you with random fucking bullshit from the distance, zapping you from far away, and they're like, approaching them is so barbaric.
Again, using a spell like Cloud Kill, considering the bad guy's stick.
I am cultured. I blast you with Cloud Kill from far instead of getting my claws dirty.
That the spell has. But what's interesting about it is that it actually has very strong roots on the dragon from the very beginnings of Dungeons and Dragons. See, the gold dragon is probably the dragon that has changed the most out of all others as the editions improved. See, this is how gold dragons used to look back in the day. Basically, as a fully fledged Chinese serpent dragon.
Did I not say he was a Chinese dragon? My special attack, COVID creation. This shit can fuck up your entire school system.
It was still the case for 2nd edition until it was finally changed during 3rd edition. You can see that a lot of the original flavor still remains in the modern version, as one of the biggest features of the gold dragon in terms of physical look is the outrageous length of its tail. In fact, on an ancient dragon, the tail can extend up to almost 60 feet in length, which is insane. This very long tail makes the dragon look almost like a Chinese dragon whilst in flight, as it gracefully moves and weaves as it flies in the air. In any case, originally the dragon used to have the ability to breathe a very powerful version of chlorine gas as a breath weapon, instead of the weakening gas that we have now. And this is probably where the usage of Cloud Kill came from. Okay, so far so good. Let's jump now towards society within the gold dragon's culture.
Alright, that's what I'm waiting for.
We talked about it before, so we know that gold dragons are very reserved and very private creatures. This typically only applies with the outside world, as within their lairs, they're actually fairly social. Depending on the region, they will have different powerful beasts that are loyal to the dragon, but most often than not, gold dragon lairs typically have good aligned storm and cloud giants that are also loyal, who will protect the dragon and his belongings. Within their lair, they will have a strong hierarchy system of who does what. This, of course, comes from the lawful nature of the dragon. What you might not know is that this desire for hierarchy actually expands outside of its lair in a way that no other dragon would be able to even dream of.
Dude.
We talked about something similar when we did our video on blue dragons. In there, we spoke of the fact that blue dragons...
First of all, I did not yet do blue dragons. I'm sure blue dragons are cool. This dude is literally doing the emoji meme. He's, actually, I'm gonna explain to you exactly how this works.
...of its lair in a way that no other dragon would be able to even dream of. We talked about something similar when we did our video on blue dragons. In there, we spoke of the fact that blue dragons have leaders within their community,
That's
who
pretty
they
cool.
call the suzerain. These suzerains settle disputes, make rules, and generally command the desert in which they reside. The thing about blue dragon suzerains, though, is that their domain is only always the desert that they reside under, and the suzerain will always be the oldest blue dragon. In gold dragon culture, gold dragons basically vote on who will be the leader, but this leader rules the world.
Bro, gold dragons have a worldwide isolationist democracy where the leader decides the foreign policy? That's crazy.
Yes, you heard that right. Every single gold dragon in the world basically votes on who will rule every other gold dragon on the planet. Now, the method of how they vote is not particularly described to us. One would assume that it is probably a collection of sending spells and teleportation spells and such in order to tally votes, but indeed, the gold dragon that gets to be the leader is decided purely on who is the most acclaimed, and every single dragon of Great Worm status or older will get to vote. A dragon obtains Great Worm status once they reach 1200 years of age, and just to remind you, a gold dragon can typically live for over 4,400 years.
Bro.
The gold dragon that is given the leader title is, from then on, referred to as your resplendence, and will rule over all gold dragons in the world. Now, typically, there really isn't much for the leader to do, as rarely will there be a major world event that would require...
Notice how the gold dragons are only voting and they're not like importing illegal dragons to steal votes or anything. Notice how that isn't part of the plan. These guys are actually gold nationalists, these bastards.
The attention of all gold dragons, so what they end up doing the most is to counsel other dragons on how to better fight evil.
Bro, they out there making seminars. Alright, my fellow dragons, we have voted that I am the resplendent, so I'm going to teach you exactly how we beat the shit out of baddies. That's right, there's this gay communist movement that we really don't like at all. We will be killing them all. Alright, that's how it's going to go.
Event that something major does happen, then the leader would speak for all gold dragons in meetings. And in the even rarer event that a gold dragon turns evil or does something worthy of being punished for, then it is this leader who will judge said gold dragon. It is also the leader who would become the enforcer of its judgment if it is so required. Now, this is an example of how lawful gold dragons can be. The interesting thing, though, is that they are actually fairly chaotic in their day-to-day personal lives. Some gold dragons mate for life, while others for a very short time. Some have multiple mates, while others practice monogamy. Some raise their children, while others send them to other creatures for foster.
Damn.
In fact, it is not uncommon for a gold dragon to give their children to lawful good humanoids to care for them,
that's
opening
cool.
the dragon parent to quest. Now, the actual mating process is quite interesting. See, dragons actually enjoy the idea of debating ethics and morals, but they don't like to do it with lesser creatures. Basically, with non-dragons.
Bro, they really are racist pieces of shit. W.
They do love it though when they are in search of a proper mate. Dragons who are dating will debate ethics and philosophy with each other for years before they settle to be with each other.
Dude, they're such nerds. I relate to these guys. That's crazy.
Even go on quests together to see each other's mettle and to test each other's application of philosophy in a more practical sense in the real world. And of course, if they enjoy each other's company in questing and debating, then they will decide to mate and raise children. Now, to start to close this video, let's talk about treasure, people's favorite topic when they ask about dragons.
I love me some
treasure. The Monster Manual tells us that they like gems and pearls, since it also happens to be a gold dragon's favorite food. What the Monster Manual doesn't tell you is that gold dragons truly love artisans' works of art, from paintings to sculptures, calligraphy to fine porcelain. But the single biggest thing that you will notice on an older gold dragon's hoard will undoubtedly be magical items. See, most magical items double up as works of art, as typically they are masterfully made for that purpose, but they also double up as powerful tools for evil to use, tools that the gold dragon must protect and keep away from. Since they are both beautiful works of art, and
again, gold dragons are out there with the most grandiose philosophy of all time. They're out there on a war against evil constantly and forever. So whenever they find anything that can be used for evil, they just keep that shit.
Powerful tools that ought to be protected, you will see a lot of them in a gold dragon's hoard. Lastly, I wanted to answer a question that you all probably had going into this video. What do the whiskers do?
True.
Are the whiskers for show? Or do they actually...
I just thought they were kind of like beard-like, but alright.
...do something? Well, the thing is, the whiskers are actually not strong enough to be able to be used in combat or to hold things. They're also not dexterous enough to be used as somatic components for spells. So the actual use gold dragons have for the whiskers is to clean food from their mouth and to pick their teeth. There. Answer
That's
given.
crazy.
Now we can all rest happy.
That's insane. Insane random lore at the end. Their bones make good aphrodisiac. That's nice. This was a good video. It was a really good video. I actually really like them. I'll be real. I'm probably going to put them in C tier. Because as far as the creatures in the D&D lore, they are not of the most interesting. Just super wizard dragons fighting against evil that make a democracy. Don't get me wrong. I like them, but I'm going to put them in C tier at the end. C is average. They're iconic. They're not like super epic, awesome like the Beholders and like some of the other guys. I think I put the copper dragons in B tier because quite honestly, the copper dragons, they're like trickster, jester, goofballs, and I think that's funnier than just super wise wizard dragons, which is just kind of less interesting. So I'm gonna put them in C tier. C tier is average. D tier is cringe shit, and F tier is garbage. But I think C tier is a proper place to put them. They're interesting. They're dragons, and they are cool. So anyway, thanks for this D&D lore dive. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, man.